Ben Gazzara, and I've got a secret.
I've Got a Secret, presented by Winston, America's best-selling, best-tasting filter cigarette. Yes, Winston tastes good, like a cigarette should. Now, Winston filter cigarettes bring you America's #1 panel show, I've Got a Secret, starring Garry Moore.
Thanks very much. And good evening on this Indian summer evening. Welcome to another edition of I've Got a Secret. I'd like to have you meet the members of our panel. No surprises tonight. I'm happy to say everybody's here. There's Bill Cullen, there's Bess Myerson, and there's Henry Morgan. Let's go back to Henry Morgan and dig that again. I can't stand it. Again. Lovely. And then, of course, Betsy Palmer. That's our panel. Assuming that the panel is ready to play the game, I would like then to welcome our first guest of the evening. Will you come in, sir? I will ask you, please, sir, to tell me what your name is and where are you from?
Jack Chambers from Los Angeles.
This is Jack Chambers, and he is from Los Angeles. Now, Mr. Chambers, if you will whisper your secret to me, we will show it immediately to the folks at home. All right, to help classify Mr. Chambers' secret, it concerns something he did. We'll start, why don't we start with Bess, in honor of her new hairdo.
Thank you. Jack Chambers, does it have anything to do with your coming from Los Angeles, the home of the film industry?
No.
Anything to do with show business at all?
No.
Did you do this recently?
Yes.
Is it important for us to know exactly when?
Yes, they must know,
I
Jack.
think probably
Yes.
so.
Would it be in 1959 that you did this?
Can't
Yes.
remember?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think it was.
Mm-hmm. Would we have read about it in the newspapers?
Possibly.
Was
Not this,
anybody
Jack, if you'll forgive me, not this individual feat as expressed as of this evening, right?
No.
Garry said feet. Was it physical in any way?
No.
Was there somebody else involved but yourself in this secret?
No, there wasn't.
No. That's clear.
All right, we got $20 gone, $60 to go. We go to Henry Morgan.
Jack, when you were, Garry said just a second ago that it would be necessary to know exactly when you did this, and when Bess asked you, was it in 1959, you seemed a little doubtful. Do you know exactly when you did it?
Yes, I do.
Could you narrow it down to a week?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, was it early in the year? You weren't sure that it was...
No, it was later in the year.
He's quite certain when he did it.
I just played a little game with you.
Oh, you're playing a little bit.
You see, so long as our contestants speak truthfully, they are allowed to look untruthful. So the expressions don't count. It's only what they tell you.
All right, was it in the spring?
No.
Summer?
No.
Well, it was in... But we didn't have anything else.
Well, haven't we actually got into the fall?
We're just made it, as a matter of fact. Well, did you do it last week?
We just made it.
Then you just did it during the last week.
That's right.
Okay. Now, you said that you did it alone and it wasn't physical.
That's correct.
Was the thing you did connected with something with which we are familiar, that is, say, a baseball team or something out on the coast?
Well, something on the coast.
Jack, let's say this. To clarify the secret, I would say that you are familiar. There's an object named in his secret. You are familiar with the object. It is not a West Coast object. You are familiar with the object. It is not a baseball. It is not a baseball bat, nor is it a baseball team. All right, we got $40 down, $40 to go, and we go to a very knowing-looking Betsy Palmer.
Well, my dear, do you have something to do with Mr. Khrushchev?
You're pretty smart, but I'm not Russian.
You're not Russian, but did you have something to do with his trip to the West Coast?
No.
Well, I blew that. Did you have anything to do with underwater by any chance?
No.
All right.
Go for the object.
Well, go for the object. All right, I will. Was this object something mechanical?
No.
All right, $60 down, $20 left. Bill Cullen, please.
Was this object a person?
No.
You mentioned fall. Did you do this today? Because fall just started today at 3:09.
I didn't want to point it out that today is the first day of fall, so having done it in the fall, obviously,
He did it
today.
You did this today.
I know you do.
Jack, did it have anything to do with any of us? Let's get that.
No, I don't think... No.
Mm-hmm. Is the object here with you?
Not with me, no.
The object is here. However, we've lost $80, and so the game is over. Panel, I have here, he does not have, I have here, several copies of today's New York Herald Tribune. Now, it is 46 8-column pages, and it has from 20 to 25,000 words of news in it. Mr. Chambers' secret is that he has memorized the content of all of the news items in this paper. It amazes you. It certainly amazes me. Mr. Chambers does this every day with his own with the Los Angeles Times on his own television show out there on KTTV. It is called Check with Chambers. How does the show work, Jack? What's the gimmick?
Well, it's called Check with Chambers, and every day, every morning from 9 to 9:30, we have what we call a news quiz contest, and people call in, and if they can in any way stump me on any article in the Los Angeles Times, which, by the way, is the fattest publication in the world, they can win anywhere from $5 to $150.
Well, now, let me ask you this. Do they ever stump you?
Oh, yes. That's what makes a game out of it. They have to stump you.
Every now and then somebody does stump you, but most of the time you win, right?
Well, let's say I miss average about 15 to 20%. But I might miss none for 3 days, and then I might have a bad day and miss 3. You know, that's the way it goes.
Well, now, I have 4 copies of the New York Herald Tribune here, and incidentally, for anyone in the New York area, this is the city edition, if you're going to play this along with us. So, panel, I'll give you each of you a copy of the paper. I ask you to peruse it, turn to any page that you like. Now, do not expect him to quote the items verbatim. He knows the information contained in the items. For instance, the number of feet, or the number of people, or the size of something, or the sense of the story. We'll ask you to, one by one, pick out a story, and we'll ask you what page it's on, ask you to give us the headline on the story, and he will give you any information that is contained in that news story. I want to warn you also, please don't hold your newspapers in front of your microphones, elsewise you might as well stay home because we can't hear you.
Let's go for ads, too?
Oh, by the way, this is general news, no advertisements, all right? So, Bill Cullen, pick a page and give us the lead on the story.
Austria may appeal to UN.
What page is this, Bill? I'm sorry, what page?
It's blurred.
Page blurred?
12.
Page 12.
Page 12. Austria may appeal to UN on S. Tyrol. Disputes with Italy on former territory to hold talks.
Oh, boy. I have to admit it. That's there's 2 articles on that page.
There are 2 articles on that page,
Yeah,
Bill?
one about the telephone cable and the
Right.
one about the Austria issue.
Right.
It's a little 3-column, half-column, or quarter-column thing.
Right.
That, to me, is remarkable in itself.
This is one that I had a terrible time with and was supposed to have come back to and didn't do it.
Bill, may we hold yours in abeyance and see if we can come back
just
to
for a second. Let me think about it while you're going.
Sure.
Meanwhile, we'll go to Bess Myerson and ask her for the page number, please.
Page 8,
Page
Jack.
8.
All right.
I have a column, headline, TA reports fewer delays.
Yeah, that's the article about the Transit Authority, wherein they have, from August 1st, March 1st, 1959 to August 1st, 1959, they have had 500 less, exactly as a matter of fact, it so states, 500 less incidents, which has dropped their delay rate from 2.78 to 2.28.
You're wonderful. Absolutely right.
Now, keep in mind, my friends, that this is a newspaper and a city with which Jack Chambers is not familiar, so these local issues are not something he can't have known from the past. He had to learn them since he got off the plane this morning and arrived in our town. All right, Henry, what page?
Page 1.
Page 1.
Now,
Well, first of all, now, before you go any further, will you describe to him page 1? Then go to his specific story.
Shall I describe it to him?
Describe page 1.
Well, on page 1, you have in the first column, you have the burner story about the Edward the Burner Paris. And then, of course, below that, you have the story about Edith Mackey, the Brooklyn mother who beat up the school teacher, which, if you want more details, we'll give them to you. And then you have the story of the General Assembly. You have the hurricane. You have the story about the unfortunate family of 12, where 11 of them drowned in a boat in Lake McKeever. You also have the story about Khrushchev mellowing over the hot dog, the Marguerite Higgins column on the other side, where Iowa has mellowed, and of course Iowa has given him, Khrushchev, the idea that he wants to have these continued summit talks. We have the thing on the bottom about Alexander.
That's enough. Now, let's go to Henry's specific article about which you wanted to ask, Henry.
In the article about the 12 in the family who drowned,
Right.
what was the power of the outboard motor?
5 horsepower.
Very good.
I thought he would probably ask me the 11 people, but...
Can you name
Now,
them?
Betsy,
Yes, I can.
I thought that would be a dirty trick. Gary, he's got a great trick.
I'd like to give
He
them
can
to you.
name the 11 people.
The 11 people?
Dora Larson, 41, was the wife. The only survivor, by the way, was Leonard Larson, who was 42, and he survived.
Right.
Dora Larson, the mother, 41, she perished, along with Harry Larson, the uncle, 64, along with Arthur, 15, Shirley, 13, Harry, 10, Marlene, 9, Freddie, 8, Carol, 7, Robert, 6, Mary Ann, 5, Melody, 3, and Terry Lee, 5 months. There was one other daughter.
Now, as a clincher, Betsy, I'm going to ask you to bypass the story that you fell in love with because I want to show you a really remarkable trick. Will you turn to page 7, section 2? The whole panel can turn to page 7, section 2, the crossword puzzle. Here you will find several words listed under either across or down. I ask you only to ask Mr. Chambers a number down or a number across. He will give you the word, not the answer, not the definition, but the word as listed.
What are we supposed to say?
I worked this thing all morning, never did get the answer.
You have the crossword puzzle?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, Bill, you ask him a number across or down.
All right, number across, number 69.
Number 69 across is indigo.
Right, absolutely right.
Righty? That does it. Jack, there's no sense belaboring the point. I think this is the most remarkable feat of pure sitting down and concentrating I've ever seen in my life. Jack Chambers, thank you ever so much. We're proud to have had you on the show.
Pretty nice, sir.
Thank you, Jack. You're very good at the paper, but you forgot your money.
Well, you know, I always forget my pants. I went once in to do a photographic sitting and went down with the coat and no pants.
Well, better luck with the newspaper. Okay, thanks, Jack. Well, now, my friends, let's take time out right now here for a little demonstration, if we will. I would like to show you how two different men react to their cigarettes. Now, first, man number 1. No doubt about it. Now, you know that fella got himself a cigarette that tastes good like a cigarette should. Winston, of course. But now let's take a look at man number 2. Brand X, you say? No, that man was smoking a Winston, only he lit the wrong end. Which is just another way of showing you, my friends, that it is what's up front that counts. No matter how good a filter may be, and ours is splendid, the simple fact of the matter is that the enjoyment you get from your cigarette comes from the tobacco. Or as the Winston people say, if it hasn't got it here, it hasn't got it. Now, Winston has got it because with every Winston puff, you are smoking filter blend. Rich, flavorful tobaccos specially selected and processed for filter smoking. And that's why it took Winston just 15 months from the day it was introduced to become America's best-selling filter cigarette. And even then, that's not so surprising as it sounds, because after all, it's only natural that America's best-tasting filter cigarette should become its best-selling filter cigarette. So you feel like man number 1. You light up the correct end of a Winston, and you will see for yourself that Winston tastes good like a cigarette. Panel, as much as we enjoy your presence, we're going to have to ask you to leave. Do not take your blindfolds with you. Henry's anxious. Don't take your blindfolds with you. You will be back but very shortly. As the panel takes its leave, my friends, it's time for us to meet our special guest for tonight, one of Hollywood and Broadway's most brilliant young actors who will be seen next Monday night as a prize fighter on this network on the show of the month production of Body and Soul. Here is Mr. Ben Gazzara. This guy has been rehearsing around the clock, so we are most grateful to him for being here. Really.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I stand up, you know.
Well, Ben, I want to tell you, not only do I admire you, I envy you for being an actor. Because one week you can be a prize fighter or a soldier or a scientist or a romantic lover. Every week after week, I sit here like a...
Oh, yeah. I believe you mean a schnook? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the word, schnook. And I'm always the same. Just for a change, I would love to play the part of a prize fighter. Mm-hmm. Trading punches in the ring as the crowd cheers. Someone should write a part like that for me.
Well, it's not that easy, Gary. I had to go through a lot of training for this.
Yeah?
Now I had to, just like a real fighter.
Well, I'd be willing to do that.
Would you?
So long as I would end up being a prize fighter for a change instead of
a schnook.
A schnook, yeah. Yeah. I'm willing to train.
Well, if you're willing to train the way I did, I might be able to help you.
Yeah?
I might, you might be able to be a fighter sooner than you think.
Yeah?
Sure.
You can't scare me, buddy. What do I have to do?
Well, I started out with kind of simple calisthenics, building the body up, and then a little road work, punching a sandbag, and if you last through that, the public may be able to see you as a real fighter.
Oh, well, Ben, I'm with you all the way. Let's that be your secret, huh? What we're going to do is we'll get the panel back, and we will blindfold them and see if they can guess that Ben's secret is that he is putting me through the same training that he did for his part in Body and Soul, all right?
Right, sure.
All right, let's bring the panel back in, please. While we're about it, let's pull the desk. I want room,
all right,
boy.
All right.
When I want to operate, I want to operate. All right, now, sit down quickly. Sit down, come here. Hi, panel.
Hi.
Hi there.
Hi.
I am going to ask you, please, to put on your blindfolds. As each of you finishes his round of questioning, you may remove your blindfolds, but not until then. Mr. Gazzara's secret concerns something that he is doing. All right? We'll start the questioning with Bill Cullen.
This thing that you're doing, sir, it's a physical thing, obviously. I can hear some motion. Is it a physical thing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Are you doing it? Are you doing it in concert with anyone else?
My what?
Are you doing it with anyone?
Yes, I am.
Is Garry the person with whom you are doing it?
Yes, I'm glad to say.
Is Garry going to look differently when you're finished this?
I don't think so.
I hear running footsteps. Are you chasing him by any chance?
No, I'm not.
I can take my thing off now, huh?
There's $20 down, $60 to go. And we go, please, to Bess Myerson. You may remove your blindfold, Bill, if you will. No. This has nothing whatever to do with the show, with the secret, with anything. Somebody put smut in, soot. Soot. You look like Al Jolson.
Bill, I know what it is.
What?
I spilled my water glass, and the dye of the blindfold came off.
Well, that ain't it, whatever it is. All right, $20 down, $60 to go. We go to Bess Myerson.
All righty, you must look charming, Bill. Gary, you're out of breath. You say you're not chasing. Are you running or jumping in place? You're
Yes.
Yes, you
Please
are.
address,
Somebody's
please
got money.
address your questions to Mr.
What? Sir? Oh, Mr. Gazzara. Can I take these off?
$40 down. Bess, you're clean. Don't worry.
Take a look at me.
$40 down. $40 to go, and we go to Henry Morgan.
Gary, or Ben. Ben?
Yeah.
Are you doing any physical activity?
Yeah.
Is it as strenuous as what Gary's doing?
Not quite.
Is it related to what he's doing?
Yes.
Are you counting? He sounds like he's jumping rope.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Are you the manager of this boy?
At the moment, yes.
Oh, are you rehearsing him for a part that you don't want to do the work for or something?
Yes.
No, Bess.
No.
No.
I thought that was it. They all applauded.
Shall we reveal it?
Well, they all applauded. I quit, though. I quit this whole
Yeah,
show
that's
because
right.
I've never gotten a chance.
I'll tell you what. Let's skip the last one. Let's get the gloves on.
All right.
You see,
Are you rehearsing for a role in
Pardon?
something? A role in a play or a film, I bet.
next Monday, he is playing the starring role in Body and Soul.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I told him I'd love to play a part like that.
You're the body.
So he's putting... I'm the body. So he's putting me through the same training that he had to go through for this particular role.
That's right.
So you got a sparring partner now, Ben?
Well, I have a boy I sparred with, yeah. His name is Whitey Ford. Great little fighter.
Whitey Ford?
Ford.
Ford.
Yeah, here he is.
Whitey Ford, yeah.
You want to box him or want me?
Let me watch you.
All right.
Whitey Ford, ladies and gentlemen.
Here we are.
Don't hit the gas, Whitey.
So he has to do the movie.
So you can see he doesn't kid around for this
Oh, no.
stuff. Well, I'm ready to take Whitey on anytime.
Oh, no. I have.
What's the matter? You yellow? Huh?
I have another boy for you, a kid who worked with me when I was first starting, somebody who took it easy.
A little
So-
softer, huh?
That's right.
Okay,
And,
bring
you want
the
me to
kid
bring him on?
Bring him on. I'm going to have it down there. Put him over. This is the fellow I'm going to fight?
That's who I started with. You want to fight him a little bit?
Ladies and gentlemen, we just ran out of time. You got a bench down here. Joe, come down here. I don't have to tell you this man's name. If there's anybody in the world that doesn't know Joe Lewis, should have your head examined. So, I ain't going to fight him. I'd rather talk to him. Ben, I ain't got any breath. You got any questions you'd like to ask him?
Oh, sure. There's a rumor around really, that Marciano is thinking about coming back. And I was wondering...
Well, he hasn't said definite that he's coming back then. The paper been carrying that he will come back, but...
I was wondering what your thoughts are on a subject like
Well,
that.
all I can say is I made a comeback once, but it wasn't so good, though.
Let me ask you this question. I know all the fight fans out there would like to know. Now, in this rematch of Johansson and Patterson, who, in your opinion, is going to win?
Well, Gary, they always told me at least, always bet on the champ, but y'all can lose once.
Well, do you think that this was a one lucky punch that Ingmar got in, or do you think he's that good a fighter, really?
Well, he's a good right-hand puncher, of course. And I always say that anytime you land a one knockout punch, it's always got to be lucky in the attached to it. But so he's a good right-hand puncher, though.
All right, well, let me ask you again, because I want to make sure I understood it, because I want to know where the money goes next time around. Who would you bet on if you had to go between Johansson and Patterson next time around, not this time?
Who would I bet on?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I'll bet on the champ.
You would, huh? Well, that tells me what I want to know. I wish we could sit here and chat all night. Yeah. But frankly, I'm pooped. Thank you, Joe. Ben Gazzara will be watching Monday night, buddy. Now let's take time out for another action-packed Winston thriller. Light up, fasten your seatbelts, and get set for the doggonest roller coaster rides you ever saw in your life.
Winston does taste good like a cigarette should. In fact, Winston tastes best because Winston's the one and the only one that gives you this pure white modern filter plus filter blend up front. Mild, flavorful tobaccos, specially selected and specially processed for filter smoking. Filter blend is why Winston tastes good like a cigarette should. Try Winston.
By the way, friends, I'm sure we're all interested in knowing what Joe Louis is doing now. Among his latest enterprises is a record company called Triangle Records, and the tune they're going with is the beautiful Walter Gross tune Tenderly, Floyd Henderson, and he brought records for each of the panel. I've heard them. They're very good. Now then, friends, we have time, I see, by the clock, about 4 minutes.
Gary,
left for a personal question. And this, yes, Bill, do you want something?
I got to interrupt you just a minute because I have a little speech I'm supposed to make. I wasn't supposed to have the makeup on, but it's a speech I'm supposed to make on behalf of the other panelists. Next Tuesday night, September 29th at 10 o'clock on this very network, you'll be starting your second season with your variety show. And all of us on the panel want to wish you good luck and continue the tradition that was started last year, if you recall, of giving you a surprise send-off. It's the only chance we ever get to surprise you. Now, you may remember, Gary, last year we told you to stand on a mark in the center of the stage, just like that one there. See right in front of you,
I remember last year.
Would you come out and stand on it? It's the same kind of mark. That's right. Then, if you remember, Gary, we lowered in a rope. We lowered in a rope at that time, just like the rope that should be coming in now, but there it comes. A rope just like this one. And, of course, that rope, Gary, was pulled, if you recall, and you were snowed in about 1,000 pounds of confetti. You remember that? Fine. Remember what a funny surprise that was?
Not going to
That was fun. Well, this year, Gary, we're not going to do that.
Good.
We have another surprise. Now, we don't want to play any tricks on you this year. We just want to show you how much we all love you, and as a token of our high regard for you, we'd like to present you with a simple little 3-layer cake. Very Now, Gary, you stay there. You are. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I have a little speech I'm supposed to make on behalf of the other panelists. Now, you know all about that. You stand right there and bring Marion on out here. Bring her on. That's a hard cake to break out of, you
Bless
know.
her heart, Marion Lorne, dearest girl in the world.
Bent over, Henry said. It'll be
Stay bent over there.
Very hard to come.
I was with her in rehearsal today. All right, dear.
Easy, boo.
Gary, you stay there.
Stay where I am?
Yeah, don't move. It's all right. I don't know.
Tuesday, friends. Next week, this show will be co-sponsored by Bristol and Myers, and I wish I were dead.
I've Got a Secret is brought to you each week at this time by Winston, America's most popular filter cigarette. Winston tastes good like a cigarette should. Transportation for contestants and I've Got a Secret is arranged by United Airlines.
Salem's new cigarette paper discovery. High porosity paper that air softens every puff. Invisible porous openings blend just the right amount of air with each puff to give you a softer, fresher, richer smoke. Now more than ever, Menthol Fresh Salem refreshes your taste.
Are you watching, you little rascals?
Oh, it's fun, isn't it?
And who subscribes to it?
Go on, push the button.
Think of the fun you could have on the tube.
The tube?
You. Tube.
TV tubes. That's a lot of fun, isn't it?
It's going to be a lot more fun if you keep going the way you're going.
Go on, push the button.
Please subscribe.
I hope they're watching.